Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
Thank you for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's a replay from November 2023 while Kim is out. Here's Hour 1.
I always like to kick things off with something really fun and interesting. And let's talk about Barbra Streisand. She dropped her autobiography called My Name is Barbara. And let me tell you, this is a long book. It's like over 900 pages. On an audiobook, it's 48 hours. Whoa. Okay. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that back in 2016, Barbara was not too happy with the way that Siri was pronouncing her last name. She was saying it like Streisand. And she's like, no, it's Streisand, like sand on a beach. So she did what anybody else would do. She called Tim Cook up. That's right. And she said, you need to change Siri so she says my last name correctly. And, Tim Cook changed it. So now if you say it on Siri, it's Barbra Streisand. Now, one thing you may not know is that a few years ago, she also cloned her dog, Samantha, using cells from the dog's stomach and mouth to get two other dogs. And she was thinking about coming out with a new hit single. That's right, a new hit single. You ready for it? I'm going to just hum it for you, see if you can remember it. Or I'll just sing it. I'm just going to go ahead and sing it. You ready? Send in the clones. Send in the clones. Oh, I know, that was bad. Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's digital goddess. I promise I'll never sing again. This is the biggest show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. You can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. And you can find us as a podcast, as a webcast with 3 months worth of archives over at Komando.com. Just hit that link that says the Komando Community. You can try it free for 30 days. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members, serving in 175 different countries and 200 ships at sea. And I know that you have a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. That's why our T-Mobile unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And I need two things from you. Number one, the best way for us to grow more listeners on the show and on the podcast is for you to tell one person in your life about how much you really enjoy the shows and how much you're learning. And number two is give me some feedback. Head over to Komando.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. Tell me what you want to hear more of, because you're all so important to me. All right, just for you, dear listener, I check out 35 different websites every single day to make sure that both you and I are up to date. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about tech right now. We're going to start with Elon Musk. He landed in Britain late last week to take part in the world's AI Safety Summit. All these industry bigwigs, they gathered together to figure out how to prevent AI from killing us all. Now, Musk says that AI will lead us to a world where no one will actually have to work. And that means all the jobs will have to go. So if Musk is right, I don't think all the jobs, but many jobs will be replaced by AI robots. And here's the list of the top jobs to go within the next 5 years. Meat packers are at the top. Robotic replacements are already being deployed. People who clean airplanes and vehicles, bartenders, waiters, waitresses, short order cooks like fast food workers, they're going to be gone. Janitors will also go. Room-maids, they say, will be around for some time. Hospital orderlies, and anyone who sorts anything to grade its quality should be looking for other lines of work right now. Moving on to number 2, let's talk about accountability software. It's in the news, but you may not know exactly what it is. newly appointed Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson's in the spotlight, not just for politics. A clip has resurfaced of him saying that he and his 17-year-old son monitor each other's online porn intake. Now, the speaker uses a software called Covenant Eyes. I've talked about it here on the show. It tracks your activity on your laptop, computer, phone, more, then sends reports and alerts back to your accountability partner. So for Speaker Johnson, those alerts are sent to his son and then vice versa. So if you push your politics to the side for just a moment, this software is getting a lot of scrutiny because of the privacy policies. It states that the software takes blurred screenshots and sends them back to its own servers, encrypted. The app also logs your entire web history. Now, Covenant Eyes says those screenshots and sites are for internal use only, and they're only used to generate reports. Ugh. But I sure hope the speaker doesn't use Covenant Eyes on the government phone. He only uses it on his private phone because, once it's out there, anybody can get to it. Moving on to number 3, is this the end of the smartphones? Coming soon, a small square device. This is really something. You got to pay attention. You can pin on your chest, and with it, you can directly talk to ChatGPT. You can make phone calls, text, do everything. It's called AI Pin from Humane, a former guy from Apple, by the way. There are no screens. If you need to see information or pictures provided by the AI, it projects lasers directly onto your palm. It tracks your hand gestures to sift through menus. Closing your hand brings the device to its dedicated homepage. You can talk to it. AI will analyze what you need. Here, take a listen.
One of the things I like most about messaging is getting caught up. My AI summarizes what's important, so I don't have to go back and read every message.
Catch me up.
Yanir asked if you want to get hookfish with Sam this week. Michelle sent some notes about today's design sync. Andy and Adam are on their way over.
Or using AI to search through messages. What's the gate code that Andrew sent me?
The gate code that Andrew sent is 7361.
Okay, that's pretty amazing technology right there. And this is what's coming. It's going to be announced within the next 10 days, I predict. And then it's going to be going on sale next year. But, think of this. You don't have to sift through a bunch of messages to find a code. It's like having a really smart assistant right next to you, and you're not having to carry around this phone. This is going to be really something. Moving on to number 4, it's about the paper. This story is from the Wall Street Journal. A guy by the name of Barry Schneider likes to take care of all his finances with his bank statements through the mail. He says it's physical, it's official. But when he went to pay off his Citibank credit card last month, a message popped up. Go paperless or you won't be able to access our website or app. That's right. Banks have wanted you, me, and everybody else to go strictly digital for years right now. It's better for the environment, cost the bank less. I don't know if this is legal, but my bet this is the start of a trend for all banks. All right, finally this, coming in at number 5, I asked ChatGPT if Kim Komando was my name, and it came back to me and said no. A whole bunch of baloney. Yes, Komando really is my last name. So a company by the name of Vectera, founded by a whole bunch of Google employees, took a look into how often chatbots hallucinate. They lie. They just make stuff up. What they found is the chatbots lie, hallucinate, whatever you want to call it, at least 3% of the time, and at most 27% of the time. This is really serious issues. I mean, think about this. But what is the greatest lie of all time? I have read the terms and conditions of all my apps. Yeah, sure you have. Okay, so inflation's on the rise. Everybody knows that. And maybe your pocket is feeling just a little bit lighter. That's why so many folks are looking for really good side hustles. Now, think about it. You've got a skill that's in demand. Why not put it to work, right? Well, that's what Graham Cochran did. And he says that if you have any kind of knowledge, you can get paid for what you know. And when I read about him, I'm like, oh my gosh, we totally have to have Graham here on the show because he's making every single month in passive income $160,000. Wow. Hey, Graham, thanks so much for being here. That's quite an income stream, right?
Yeah, it is. Good to be here, Kim. Definitely not what I thought I'd be making as a musician growing up. Thought I'd be either mega famous or broke and trying.
So tell us, how did this all get started?
For me, it took the global recession, 2009. Moved to a new city with my wife. We had our first baby, bought our first house, lost 2 jobs that year.
Ouch.
And it was like a lot of people, right? You needed to find a way to make a living. and we were on food stamps for 18 months while I tried to start a business. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know anything about business, but I just knew I didn't want to go back to a desk job. I was a musician by trade. I can't stay inside of a cubicle, and I needed to make something work. And so that's what started my entrepreneurial journey, is because I had to.
So what was that first business?
Yeah, I ended up starting, initially it was a freelance recording business. I had a background in producing albums for bands. I did it for my own music. And that was the only marketable skill I had at the time. So I thought, you know what, I'll try to turn this into a side hustle. That wasn't language we were using yet back then, but it was what I was trying to do. And I ended up starting a YouTube channel and a blog in 2009 and 2010, thinking I would generate some leads for that freelance business. But what it turned into was a content business. It's called The Recording Revolution. And it's teaching musicians how to record music at home.
Wow, that's really something. So was there a particular video that just was like, it went crazy and you're like, I think I have something?
I didn't have anything go crazy for the first 7 years of that business in terms of videos. I'm a good example of, there's so much talk right now about, if you're talking about YouTube, you must talk about going viral, being an influencer. None of that's necessary to make money if you're talking about online stuff, which is what I do. It really is about finding your little tribe of people and serving them powerfully in around content that they're interested in. So I put out videos every single week. I wrote articles every single week on my blog, and nothing really popped. It couldn't point to one piece of content, but it was the cumulative effect of people finding my stuff. I knew early on that the way people were reacting to my content, that there was something here. I just didn't know how to make money from it at the time.
What is it about what you are doing that keeps people coming back for more?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, when I think about putting out a piece of content, it's educational in nature, is what I'm teaching them how to do something. And a lot of my clients, whatever that is, they know how to do. They're teaching people how to do it. The difference is anybody can find how-to content, but the content creators we're attracted to, and I hope this is true about me, is people who not only teach you the how, but they impute belief that you can actually go do it yourself. So when people walk away from a video of mine, whether it's in the music business, my first one, The Recording Revolution, or my personal brand where I'm teaching people how to start online businesses, I want them to walk away saying, not only, I see how it works, but they actually believe they can do it, because I'm really giving them encouragement and empowerment, not just information.
Well, and it has to be inspirational, right? I mean, because there are so many different places that you can go on, like you said, to get a how-to or to get a laugh or to figure out how to do something. I mean, even if it's, I actually learned how to change an electrical socket the other day, and I'm like, okay, who knew I could do this, type of thing. But I think it's kind of what I do too. There's a lot of different places that you can get tech content. But whether or not you trust the source of that tech content, or you can go behind the scenes and really know what that AR, VR revolution really could mean to you. And it's identifying that. But also, don't you think it's having a passion for what you're doing as well?
Well, you said it. People follow you because they like you. And so they want to hear the content from you. We're in an age where people aren't looking for experts as much as they're looking for their person that they like to learn from and they trust them. You said trust is important. And maybe it's a voice that I understand. There are people that teach what I teach in a very different way. And some people will be attracted to the way they present things, the way they think. I'm someone who takes complex things and makes them simple. So if you like simple, you're going to like my stuff. If you like academic, you're not going to like my stuff. And so I think it's really, we get to pick and choose our teachers and our mentors and our heroes and our educators in a way for whatever field it is, whether it's a small thing like changing a light switch or hey, I want to learn a new skill to start a new business. We get to pick who we want to learn from. We don't have to just go to university anymore. So I find comfort in just I'm going to be me and be authentic to the way I view the world. And like you said, passion is important because I'm not just regurgitating information. I'm sharing what works for me and my clients, and I believe in it so much. And if you catch a whiff of that passion, you might just believe you can do it too.
So talking about online businesses, it's tough, right? There's no shortcut to success. These are long hours. There's no such thing as, make $5,000 a month by posting affiliate links. We've all seen those type of scams out there. Yeah. Where is the niche right now, Graham? Where do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's audience building is what I would say. It's you have to build your own audience. So something I say is that without an audience, nothing's possible, but with an audience, anything's possible. If you can curate an audience of people that like what you're putting out there in the world, then there's a million ways to monetize it, whether it's ads, whether it's, brand deals or sponsorships. That's the more of the influencer model. Or like me, I sell my own products, and these are information products, online courses, membership communities, one-on-one coaching. Or if you have an actual business with a different service, you can build an audience online and then present your products and services to those people. But wherever you do it, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram, or I prefer a platform personally like YouTube that's more of a search engine where content doesn't disappear in the feed, like where social media platforms, those content pieces disappear unless you go viral. I'd much rather leverage a YouTube platform, but wherever you build it, you're really curating an audience that likes you, knows you, and trusts you. And then from there, you build out the business however you want. That's what I'm teaching people how to do.
If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. And speaking of people, I'm a firm believer that when ChatGPT got announced a year ago, it just changed the platform on so many different levels. But one of the things that I did is when I was really playing with ChatGPT again a year ago, is I sat down and I said, how is this going to affect my business? When I look at the Commando media verse, we have radio shows and podcasts and Sirius XM, and we've got a paid community, we've got newsletters and a website, and then we've got branded merch. It's just kind of this whole snowball thing. But how will AI affect me and the people who work for us and the listeners and the viewers and all the other kind of great things? Is that I came away and said, I think that more people are going to be seeking out people rather than AI, because you don't really know who AI is. You don't have any trust with that AI. You don't know who programmed that AI because it's biased. And so we have been purposely shifting more of the business into personality focused.
I think it's so smart.
Because I was going to ask you, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's brilliant because when something zigs, you have to zag. And if the culture is saying, let's embrace AI, I think AI is a powerful tool. It can be a helpful tool, but it's only going to create more demand for personality, for humanity, for humanness. And so I'm urging people to jump on the train of curating a community, building content, being a face, a human face that's known and has a voice and has an opinion. ChatGPT is going to make everyone's, if we all write our articles through ChatGPT, it's all going to sound the same. This is going to make it so much easier for you to stand out if you have a provocative, spiky point of view on something that you passionately believe in. And that's what I think the world needs more of, is be vocal, be a personality. Don't be a fake version of yourself, but be an amplified version of yourself. You know what it's like when the camera's on, the microphone's on. Be something people want to watch and be 100% you. I think you're going to see more push for content and humanity, because that can't be duplicated by AI.
But how do we use AI in content creation and maybe automate some things?
Oh yeah, that's the best word. I think automation just got better because that's what AI really is. So I think you're seeing, in my space, I'm seeing AI make video editing faster, create clips of content faster, transcribing stuff, even the ability to transcribe and then know what an or a oops or what, taking things out of a piece of content. It's making video content and audio content and text content creation faster, which just allows us to get back to doing what I think good content brands do, which is show up and talk and be in front of the camera and find new ways to serve our people. So it might, in a way, it might replace some jobs, but those people are going to have to find new ways to add value. But I think it's speeding up jobs, especially in the content space.
And you can always tell when AI writes something. I look at them like, oh, geez, Louise. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of mishmash of facts and figures, and they may not even be the correct facts and figures to begin with.
No, but we love it because we're lazy. We're like, that must be true. A robot told me.
So, Graham, tell us all how we can tap into what you do.
Yeah, I would say a great place to start. I mean, the podcast, The Graham Cochran Show, the YouTube channel, Graham Cochran, and I have a whole workshop. Basically, what I want people to do is for free, watch this training just to understand the model of building passive income the way I teach. Just go to grahamcochran.com/workshop and watch it for free. See how I unpack everything. You'll see behind the curtain what the Wizard of Oz is doing. And if it makes sense for you and you like it, then you're going to be able to dive deeper and build that kind of business. You have to make sure it's the right business for you, but it unpacks how I'm leveraging my time and building the kind of business I am without having to work so many hours. So it's pretty cut and dry, but it'll encourage you if you want to go down that path. So
one last question, $160,000 a month. How many hours are you working a month?
About 5 hours a week. So 20 hours a month.
Okay, I need to sign up for your class.
Okay. Come on over. We'll have fun.
All right. Hey, Graham, thanks for being here. I just love success stories, don't you? I mean, here's a guy who was like down on his luck in 2009, and here he is making $160,000 a month. Really, really success story. Love that. Congratulations, Graham. I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time I actually physically went into a bank. I mean, there's no reason to do that anymore. You can do everything on your laptop, computer, on your phone. We trust our banking apps, but Merchant Machine, they have reviewed the privacy policies of today's top banking and finance apps. They found the 20 worst offenders take an average of 20 unique types of data. Okay, we're not just talking about your location, your purchases, your username. It's everything from your browsing history to contacts to search history, usage data, health metrics, fitness metrics. They're just sucking it all in. And we're going to start with Robin My Data. Yeah, you may not realize this, but Robinhood, it takes a lot from you, 25 data points to be exact. And it's not giving it away to the poor, but it did fall victim to a data breach in 2021. A newer bank on the scene is Chime. A lot of controversy over this. In addition to collecting 23 personal data segments from app users, it's guilty of locking users out of their accounts and holding their cash hostage. It's nuts. Chase is one of the biggest names in the business and one of the worst data collection offenders. They take 20 different data points. What about all these buy now, pay later businesses like Klarna? Has about 150 million active users who buy stuff from 500,000 merchants. The app grabs 24 types of personal data. And what about Groupon? I didn't even know it was still around, but it's on this list. 21 categories of personal data. So what can you do? Be choosy. We all give some data away to our apps and companies, but only use the ones that you absolutely have to. When money is involved, skim the privacy policies. It's easier to do on a computer. Hit Control F on Windows, Command F on a Mac, and search for things like data, tracking, third-party analytics. Now, if you have an iPhone, the app privacy report shows how apps are using your data. Head over to Settings, Privacy and Security, the app privacy report on Android, Settings, Apps, and Permissions. And we have all this written out for you to check it out over at commando.com. When you're there, just hit that button that says Show Picks. Amy in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona.
Well, I just first of all want to thank you for the amazing public service you do. And I first came across you in the little Scottsdale newspaper and got tied into what you're posting out there and started following your podcast. And it's amazing. I feel very safe listening to your advice. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. That's very kind of you.
So Yeah, and so here's what's going on. So my husband and myself and another couple are traveling to Southeast Asia in January. We're going to be going to Hong Kong and Vietnam.
Oh, how fun for you.
Yeah.
That's
we're
awesome.
really excited about that. But, when I'm looking online and I've had different friends say, be careful about using your phones over there. And I'm just seeing a lot of different messages out on the internet. And I'm like, well, I'm going to call Kim and see what she says, because I trust what your advice would be. But, do we get a burner? Do you do a SIM card? Do we, trust that we're not going to get any malware if we use our phone overseas?
Well, you're going into a part of the world where it's known for surveillance, right? I mean, a friend of mine, probably about 6 months or so, that she went over to Hong Kong on business. And when she came back, I said, how was the trip? She said, oh my gosh, the strangest thing happened. And she's in the tech industry. So, she's savvy with all this stuff. She said that when she in her hotel, big brand hotel in Hong Kong, all of a sudden her laptop got really hot, which could only mean, and she was looking at the processes and the activities, is that sure enough, it looked like somebody was cloning some of the stuff on her drive as soon as she hooked up to the hotel Wi-Fi. And because of what she does and who she is, I was like, she would know. I mean, this isn't somebody who's paranoid. This is somebody who's a network engineer. She knows this stuff. That said, if I'm going to Hong Kong, I'm going to Vietnam, I'm going to take my own phone. Okay. I'm not going to be using a burner phone because I want to be able to take pictures, right? And videos.
Right.
And I want to get texts from the kids and mom and dad and get inside of a group chat when I'm on Wi-Fi, or FaceTime when I'm on Wi-Fi. So I'm going to do all that stuff. So, but I'm going to be careful when I am there, meaning that if I'm on the hotel system, I'm going to use a VPN. And I'm going to keep that VPN turned on as much as possible. I'm going to make sure that, if I'm not going to do a SIM card depends upon how much time you're going to be away and how much money that you want to spend. Really gets down to that. I mean, it's always going to be cheaper, and especially now it's not a physical SIM card, it's an eSIM card. So it's an electronic SIM card. Is that it's not hard anymore to set up a SIM card. It used to be like, I got to get there, I got to get a SIM card, I got to take the one out, I got to put the other one in, It's like, okay. And you're like, I just want to go have a good time and experience the culture. So it depends. So it's, so you can get an eSIM card, you can buy it. We'll send you some links. You can buy them before you leave Scottsdale, or you can get them when you get over there. That's really not a big deal. If you want the easiest way, is that you call your provider and you say, listen, I'm going to Hong Kong and Vietnam. How much are you going to charge me per day to use my phone? And what are my limitations going to be? Okay. And again, it's going to be like $10-15 a day. So, so you have those two, those two options. I wouldn't go to the extent of buying a burner phone or using one. Yeah, it's going to reduce the risk of any type of malware, badware getting on your phone. But at the same time, they're crappy phones. I mean, they are. And so you're not used to having these beautiful videos and panoramics, and then you've got to learn something else, and you want to send a text and it's going to be a green bubble, and you're like, I want the blue bubble. I want the blue bubble. I don't want to be a green bubble. I want to be a blue one.
So that's great advice. I appreciate it. One follow-up question then is, so let's say we go that route, we use our phones, and is there a way to know if we have been hacked or there's any malware on the phone?
Oh, you'll know. You'll know, Amy.
Okay.
I mean, so you're not going to download anything that's not in the Google Play or the Apple Store, number one. Okay. Number two, be careful of any type of text or anything that has any links in it, right?
Okay.
I mean, this is like common sense here in the United States.
Sure.
If your phone suddenly gets hot to the touch and nothing else is going in the background, you start seeing apps appear on your home screen. You're like, honey, did you download that? And he's like, no, I didn't do that. Okay. You suddenly get a greeting card in your email, and it's not your birthday, but it's like, could be. So it's just really being tech smart and being tech aware. and using a VPN, right? I mean, and just, securing your personal data. But, the reason why I always travel with my iPhone too is because I have just so many things on it that, if I'm going to do something through TripAdvisor or Viator or a local guide or whatever it may be, it's just really super easy to do that. And a contract comes in. If you're renting a car, it's on your phone. So it's almost like this is like an extension of you having this is like your own travel bag, right?
Sure.
in your smartphone. But I think it's fabulous. I'm jealous that you're going. I am. You guys didn't even ask me and Barry to go with you. That's okay.
Well, next time. I know you're a big traveler.
I am. I want to go to Hong Kong and Vietnam so badly. I'm thinking about going to Tokyo.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been there?
That sounds great. No, but I've been wanting to go myself. And my kids are talking about going, so I might try and steal a ride.
Hitch a ride with them. But no, I had dinner with a friend of mine, Janie, who her son lives in Tokyo. He's with the military, the Navy SEAL over there. And she was telling me all about it. And I'm like, oh, gosh, I so want to go to Tokyo. So I'm thinking about maybe like over the next month or so, heading out to Tokyo. Amy, thank you for your call. Hey, just a quick reminder that if you're not already following me on social media, what the heck are you waiting for? Stop ghosting me. I am at Kim Komando everywhere. So whether you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, I know everybody still says that, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, you name it, just head over to at Kim Komando. That hidden code that I promised to tell you about, it's the Mobile Advertising ID, or MAID for short. It's supposed to be anonymous, shouldn't be connected to your name or any other sensitive information, but it's attached to your smartphones collecting data. So there are reports of some slimy data brokers who boast of collecting the MAID data and then connecting it to you, like your full name, address. Pretty shady. But there's a way to make sure that none of what your phone collects on you is attached to the secret ID. So on your iPhone or Android, head into your settings and toggle off disable personalized ads. That's right. That's disable personalized ad. We have those steps too over at Komando.com. That's KOMANDO.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
Okay, how about we start with a little quiz? I want you guys and gals to take a guess. How many words do you have right now in your mental dictionary? Even the dirty ones, they count too. Well, research has found that the average 20-year-old American knows 42,000 words. This is kind of a shocker to me because 40 years after that, you're at 60 years old, is 48,000 words. So you only gain like 6,000 words in 40 years. Some people, they say, actually have bigger vocabularies. I'd have to guess that I do after all. They say your brain's ability to retrieve all those words happens in an instant. One study had participants look at an image and they had selected the word for it within 200 milliseconds. Wow, that's really fascinating. Oh, it reminds me, here's one for the kiddos in your family. What do you call a dinosaur with a great vocabulary? What do you call a dinosaur with a great vocabulary? A thesaurus. Oh, yeah, that's a great one. After all, I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess here with you. You just tapped into the biggest show, its most trusted show about all things digital. You're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. For those of you tuning in for the first time, a warm welcome. And to our regulars, it's great to have you back. You can find my show all across the United States on over 420 top stations. And if you want to listen on your own time, not a problem. Just head over to Komando.com. That's where you can get the podcast, the webcast. You can also find it on Apple Podcasts as well. Inside the Komando community, you get it 100% commercial free. You get a 30-day free trial too, by the way. Just head over to the website and hit Komando Community. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and Space Force in 175 different countries. Isn't that amazing? And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. I need two things from each and every one of you. Number one, the best and the easiest way and the fastest way for me to grow the show and podcast is for every single one of you to tell just one person to sample it, to try it out. And number 2, I want to hear from you. If there's something that you want to know more of, if you have a particular topic, maybe there's somebody you'd like me to interview, head over to Komando.com and hit the link that says email Kim. Alrighty, then every single day I go to at least 35 to 40 different websites, and here are the top 5 things that are happening in tech right now you need to know about. We're going to start with a company you probably never even heard of. It's called Kochava. It's one of the biggest data brokers in the entire world and just lost a huge legal battle with the FTC. They were caught sorting hundreds of millions of people in the U.S. by their race, gender, age, politics, sexual health, marital status, mental health, special needs, conditions, and more. So, like, for example, I looked at the report, and I could have gotten a report about pregnant women between the ages of 31 and 33 who were Muslim, who voted a certain way. Just really, really crazy stuff. The FTC says Kochava was collecting consumers' precise locations on their phones. They then use that identifier to follow movements over a day, a week, a month, maybe even a year. Personal sensitive locations, religious worship locations, shelters for the homeless, domestic violence survivors. Wow. The location data that Kochava collected was so accurate, right down to the room where the person was standing. Wow. Just makes you wonder how many other companies are out there that the FTC is not going after. Let's move on to number 2. ChatGPT came into our lives about a year ago. And this past week, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, they said, okay, we're going to have this big developer conference, the first one. And he started out by saying that ChatGPT has about 100 million weekly users. Huge. And also rolled out some new features for ChatGPT, which is now ChatGPT 4 Turbo. Now knows everything that happened in the world up until April of 2023. It can also analyze the content of up 300 pages at a time. Wow, isn't that something? You can make custom ChatGPTs, tell it which kind of person that you'd like ChatGPT to be, and what kind of angles that it should be, whether it's a professor or marketing person, communications, whatever it may be. It can now understand voice and visual inputs, which is really something. I happen to use ChatGPT when I'm doing the newsletters and I want to put an emoji in. So I was writing about fitness gear this past week in one of our newsletters, and I went into ChatGPT and I said, I need a fitness emoji. And then about 60 seconds later, I had a fitness emoji that was actually AI generated. I'm like, no, I didn't need that. I just needed the emoji that was on my phone. Crazy stuff. And by the way, the emoji had 7 fingers. Let's see. Number 3, let's save some money. The Honey browser extension really is wonderful stuff. I use it all the time. You get coupon codes, and then also you get cash back. But Google is now going after Honey. It's rolling out a new feature on search, and Chrome will automatically look for discounts and lower prices on the stuff that you want. On Google's search site, just type in shop deals to try it out. Then click the bell icon next to a product name to turn on price drop alerts. Now, while using the Chrome browser, it's going to show you the stuff you recently looked at on the shopping sites in the resume browsing button in a new window or tab. And if the price of that thing went down, it's going to let you know. It can also track the price of a product over the last 90 days to tell you if you just snagged a deal or if you just paid too much. Again, if you want to try it out, just type in shop deals. Moving on to number 4, Waze will now warn you about crash dangers. There's a lot of traffic in Phoenix, and there's a particular roundabout that's near my house that I swear there's an accident on there. It seems like every other day. Well, on my drive home, it was confirmed. Waze said, hey, this is a hotspot for accidents. It's a feature that the company just launched. It's called Crash History Alerts. Using historical data plus road and traffic data, it's going to warn you if you're about ready to go into an unsafe spot. So that's something to look forward to the next time you fire up Waze. And finally, this coming in number 5, it's ChatGPT, but spicy. That's right. Elon Musk has rolled out his new AI chatbot called Grok, and it's going to be available to X Premium Plus subscribers. And Musk says that Grok was trained on data from X and will answer spicy questions that other chatbots won't. Okay, so someone asked it, how do you make cocaine? Step by step. It said back, number 1, obtain a chemistry degree and a DEA license. Set up a clandestine lab in a remote location. Acquire large quantities of coca leaves and various chemicals. Start cooking and hope you don't blow yourself up or get arrested. Okay. I don't know where it is. I don't know why we need to have this. But Grok says it's going to answer whatever you put it out there. The other chatbots won't. All right, Patty in Charlotte, North Carolina.
The reason that I'm calling is basically our identity is being stolen and no one will seem to help us. Just briefly, we owned a company, the IT contractor that we trusted ended up being not a very reputable person. When we closed our business, we found out he made himself admin on a lot of our important business accounts, Intuit, Microsoft 360, and, on and on. And then from there, my husband and I moved, and he hacked our home router in our new home. And what is happening, after he hacked our router, it became a snowball effect where, everything's just started going wrong. And I kept on finding different things, I found out that I was being redirected with the URLs, that he was changing passcodes. He hacked into our internet provider account and changed the password and changed the username. I could just go on and on.
Yeah, this is crazy stuff. So, any idea why this person would do this?
I think it is truly strictly for our identity. And the reason I say that is because when I would look at one of our cellular bills, there would be hundreds of incoming and outgoing texts that were not related to my husband or myself. Then we had a lot of different domain names attached to our domain name. And I found out that he went and purchased it, but the weird thing is he kept it in our name. So it's some part of our identity. I think there's illegal activity going through our name.
Went to the authorities? They say anything?
Oh, multiple of times. We had the hacker on our phone. I don't know, I must have changed a setting. Well, it reversed it where I was watching him. So I took a video of it, took it to the police department. They took a video of it. You could hear the hacker in the background. You could hear a couple of kids, playing. Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to help. There's nothing there, they said, right?
No, they have all of it. I've given them stacks and stacks and stacks of paperwork.
Wow. How long has this been going on?
Over 2 years now.
You need a forensics person. You need somebody who can get copies of all this, somebody who's smarter than this IT contractor that you had, somebody who has done this sort of thing before in order to get to the bottom of a situation. There was a caller that I had probably about maybe 2 years ago now, Patty, maybe approaching 2 years ago, that her daughter went on Tinder and met somebody. And after about 2 months, she broke up with the guy. And never saw him in person, by the way. Just kind of was flirting online, doing that sort of thing. Daughter was a freshman in college. And suddenly the daughter was getting at her dorm like pizzas delivered, text saying, gosh, you look really pretty in that purple shirt. Weird letters, things like that. And then the mom called me because about January, February of that year is that her picture was posted on a porn site. The mom's picture was.
Wow.
With the mother's home address and the mother's cell phone number. And to say, for a good time, call. Well, you can imagine all the weirdos that came out of the woodwork for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And meanwhile, the daughter is despondent. Like, I don't know what to do. And mom's like, I don't know what to do. So the mom called me and I was like, you know what? And they went to the police. They went so many times. And we were like, okay, we don't know how we're going to help you. Basically is what the police said. So I have a friend of mine. His name is Rico. So I called Rico up. I said, Rico, this is a bad situation. And Rico is former military. So with that, he goes up 8 marks in my book, right? And he was part of the crew that was back in the Iraqi war, was getting the phone numbers of the Taliban.
Okay.
And he's, I think he speaks 4 different languages, and he negotiates ransomware contracts and Bitcoin payments and people that have gotten hacked. And he's very adept at this.
Okay.
And so what I'd like to do is I'm going to hook you up with Rico.
Okay.
And where you can talk to Rico and you guys can figure out what he needs, like with this, in order to find out who this person was with this gal, which he found the person, by the way.
He did?
Yes.
Wow.
Is that he had to clone the girl's phone, and he cloned the mother's phone, and it probably took him about 3 months in order to figure out who this person was. And here's the clincher to all of this. The girl knew who the person was. The person was pretending to be somebody else on Tinder.
That's just morbid sick.
It is, 100%. And what's happening to you is also sick. Okay, there's a mental illness here, but we don't need their mental illness to create angst in your mental life, right?
That's exact. I mean, I've had to go get medicine. I have to go see a counselor. And I've been a strong person my whole life. This has brought me down to a level that you don't trust you. It's scary. It's very scary.
And because of the control, right?
Very much so. He knows everything about me.
And he's heard this call.
And we got rid of internet because he hacked our router, and now our Dish network, I think it shows it's bridged. It's like, I'm not IT, so I don't get 100% of that. But why am I bridging?
Well,
I only have 2 cell phones.
Let's do this. I'm going to put you on hold, okay? And Amber, I believe, is screening calls today. Lovely Amber. And we're going to give you, Patty, Rico Danielson. That's his name, in case anybody else wants to Google him. Rico Danielson. We're going to give you some contact information for him. And then we'll keep in touch with you, Patty, through Rico. And we'll get to the bottom of this case. I guarantee you will. Rico's a very, very smart man. Every time I get a phone call like this, it just bothers me because I wish that I could magically just go through the phone line and help, but there's just so many other details. All right, let's see. Ken in San Bernardino, California. Glad to have you with us.
I have a question. There's a lot of press going around about Apple's Vision Pro and other AR, VR solutions, and I'm just wondering, from your perspective, is that really going to go anywhere? Are we going to really be wearing goggles instead of looking at computer screens?
Yeah, it's a big question. What do you think?
Well, I can see some limited applications for things like games and e-learning, maybe surgery, or architects presenting renderings in 3D of their ideas. But we've never had 3D replace 2D movies. We've never had binaural audio replace stereo. So I just don't see people wearing goggles all day long.
I don't either. I really don't. I think the screens coming are more interactive screens, almost like the Minority Report type of screens. It is my hope that as a society that we don't strap on goggles to live in a virtual world, because I don't think...
Yeah, I can't see 5 guys coming over to watch the game on Saturday all wearing goggles and eating pizza. It just doesn't make sense to me.
What'd you think of that play? I don't know. I can replay it on my screen. How about you?
Look here. Where are you looking?
Yes, but you're absolutely right. Architecture, healthcare, engineering, visualization, design, training, education. Right. I think we've all learned since that day in March of 2020 when we were all like sent home to sit on our couch. And we all went through that phase of, hey, this is pretty good. I don't need to go to work. Okay. Then we went to like, okay, we can have Zoom calls all day. And then we went like, this is not really what being a human being is about, is it? Sitting here.
I'm just wondering, too, if we get into using them on a regular basis, if we don't discover a whole bunch of unintended consequences like eye problems.
I'm sure. Let me tell you, I'm a firm believer. I don't know if you know this about me, Ken, but I had a cornea transplant in May. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I had one as a child. I was one of, it was like, your mom and dad say, like, don't play with that stick because you're going to poke your eye out. Okay. Well, I was playing with a stick with a kid. I was like 13 or something like that. And I got poked in the eye with the stick and I needed a transplant. And so it lasted very well all these years. And then it just, and then I started looking around and saying like, what can I do to make my eyesight better? Because it was 2,400. Because over time, the cells in the cornea, the transplant had, they died. And so I got a transplant in May, and now it's probably like 2,100. I still have 16 stitches in my eyes and my one eye rather, and going to get them taken out hopefully in a couple of weeks. Just they take out like a couple of stitches at a time. But the reason why I bring all this up is that over the last, say, 18 months, is that I have had so many tests on my eyes, not just the eye with the transplant, the other eye too. And I have a theory about my eyes. And my doctor at UCLA, he kind of looks at me like going, oh, gosh, Kim, really? No, we haven't read anything about this. And I'm like, no. You have to stay with me on this. Because they are concerned that I have huge optic nerves. Okay? And they said, we don't know if you were born like that or if they've changed over time. But you have no signs of glaucoma, but you just have really big optic nerves. And I'm like, it sounds like a pickup line, like, hey, honey, you got a big optic nerve, right? So my theory, and as I've told people at Barcom Palmer in Miami, which is a big place, and UCLA, obviously another big place, that I really believe that because I truly have been on a screen for about almost 50 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was probably 3 or 4 the first time I looked at a screen. Okay. So I really believe that my eyes, that they probably don't have many people, because my mom worked at Bell Labs. I don't know how many women took their kids to Bell Labs, right? So it's like, but I really think that has been almost like an adaptive thing for me and my eyes and screens, because I can, unlike most people over a certain age, is that I don't need to wear readers. Okay. Oh. Which is also, they were like, why don't you need readers? I'm like, I don't know. I can see fine up close. I can see, So I think
that's great.
So I think that there's an adaptive thing that's going on. Also, we have more people than ever that are going to be farsighted. They've already said that that's happening right now. Simply because of screens, and it's happening younger. Normally, when you hit 40, that's when you're like, oh, I need to find some readers. Okay. But now it's happening to people in their like mid-30s. So I think it will have an effect on our eyes. Long story short is I firmly believe that our eyes were not made to have this thing look at a 190-inch screen in front of our face. But all these companies are popping on the AR, the VR bandwagon, okay? Just like everybody's popping on the AI bandwagon, and saying, if you want money and VC money, oh, we have AI. Oh, okay, here you are, type of thing.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a really good point.
Do you think Apple thinks the Vision Pro will replace the iPhone?
I don't think it's going to replace it. I think it'll augment it. I also don't think that the iPhone is going to be a screen in front of your face. I think the iPhone is going to be something tucked behind your ear.
Oh.
And so
I know my Apple Watch basically is my phone. I don't carry the phone around all day, but the watch is always with me, and I use it as phone.
Sure, absolutely, 100%. I don't know. I don't really know where this is going, because I was not a firm believer. You mentioned 3D movies.
Yeah.
I really didn't see the allure of that. Okay, yeah, I can go to an IMAX. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I think the Sphere in Las Vegas is amazing. But as far as a society, I hope not that we're not going to be walking around and sitting there with these big old goggles on our faces instead of interacting with each other as people, especially with all the AI stuff that's coming down. I don't think we're made for that as a society. I just don't think so. Hey, Ken, thanks for your call today. All right. Tech is expensive, right? The iPhone 15 Pro Max with a ton of storage, $1,600. The Razer Blade 18 gaming laptop starts at $2,900. Bang & Olufsen's over-the-ear headphones, the H95s, $999. But what if I told you you can get some free stuff? Yes, that's what we love. Okay. Let's say you need some photos for your blog, your website, your social media, whatever it may be, and you don't want to have to pay. Head over to a site called Unsplash. Unsplash. And I will tell you that they're going to try to sell you photos along the way, but just stick to the free ones, and then you can get landscapes, portraits, whatever it may be. Number 2 on our list, just tell everybody that you went to Harvard. Yes, 1,700 online classes from Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Ivy Leagues. It's over on Coursera. You can also check your credit for free. You can get free ebooks without even going to the library by using the Libby app. You can visit the world's best museums by taking virtual tours. You could also get free streaming sites. And what I don't want you to do is Google free TV, because you're just going to end up at some junky malware site. Canopy, Popcorn, Flix, Voodoo, Hoopla, and Zoomer, they're all 100% safe. You can also get a second phone number for free from Google. You can also use Google Forms to survey all your customers or use SurveyMonkey. You can also get a free logo. That's right, a custom logo over at LogoBee. You can also get the free perfect passport photo. So I know you're sitting there going like, wow, these are all great, Kim. How can I tap into it? Easy breezy. Just head over to the website. That's commando.com. And when you're there, there's a link that says show pics. Just tap there. And that's where you have a list of these 10 tech freebies. I'll tell you, this is a fabulous list. You're going to love it. Katie in Harrisonburg, Virginia, glad to have you with us.
So I'm a huge fan of yours, and I was listening, and believe it or not, it comes on our local radio station in Harrisonburg, Virginia, WSVA, and you have your little tidbits that come on.
Love those.
And we are interested, I love them, but we were interested in purchasing an Apple Watch for our daughter. She's 22. She has the Series 3 right now. She wants one with data. So I was trying to research it on my own, but I also remembered hearing a tidbit about something happening in 60 days with the Apple Watches, and that could impact the price of those watches. Something with a trademark
yes.
that detects the oxygen level or something. I'm sorry, you are much better at explaining those than I am. So I started researching. I was like, okay, what would be a great series? I need to do this because Kim said, if we're going to purchase it, don't wait till Christmas. And I was like, well, I'll just hop on your website and write an email. And then it has been this wonderful progression of being able to speak with you.
Oh, that's awesome, Katie. That's awesome. Thank you. But you retained a lot in that 60-second bit that I was talking about with the Apple Watch. Yeah, there is a trademark violation between the company who has, quote unquote, invented the way that the blood oxygen sensor works by using a red light, and Apple saying like, no, we didn't take that from you. And now it's going through this whole court system. And if, depending upon what happens in the courts, is that they may have to stop selling the watch for a while until they figure it all out. And so that's really what I was talking about. But the difference between going from a Series 3 to a Series 9, she's going to love it. She really will. Because, there's just so many more features to it. I mean, you get emergency SOS, which, I think as a parent of a 22-year-old, that's fabulous, right? That if something happens, whether it's a crash or she's hiking or someplace where there's no cell connection, is that they'll be able to actually get a text message out, fall detection, then always on altimeter, the accelerometer, the gyroscope. And so the whole idea is that if you want to buy an Apple Watch, I probably wouldn't wait say another month or so, because this is working its way through the court system. And it's a big company that's going against Apple. It was just like a little guy who's like, I did this, I invented this in 1952, be like, all right, well, maybe it's not going to amount to anything. But having a watch, and being able to give it to her and have that big jump from a Series 3 to a 9, I think that makes a lot of sense.
And you recommend the 9 over the 8?
The 9 is the latest and greatest, right? And so, and it's obvious that your daughter keeps things for a long time. And so, and I know you can get the 8 a little bit cheaper. The 9 starts at $399. But I'm always for, if you're going to buy somebody who's into the whole Apple ecosystem, she has an iPhone, I bet, right?
Yes.
And then, so she's all into MacBooks and everything's all interconnected.
No, unfortunately, not a MacBook. She is not, but that's okay. She still works in the Mac world with the phone and the watch.
Someday we'll get a MacBook. Someday, when that price comes down, so it's a little bit more reasonable instead of $2,000 or $1,000 out the door, depending upon which model. But I would definitely take a look at the Series 9 versus the Series 8. You do have some other features that you don't get in 8, like the double tap, and the screen is a little bit more clearer, has a better display. I would definitely just go with the 9 instead of the 8 at this point, because, the 8 is old tech, the 9 is the latest and greatest, and hey, she's going to keep it a while. So she's going to get full use out of it. Katie, thank you so much for your call today. Oh, by the way, the new iPhone comes out in 2 additional colors. So you get Midnight, Starlight, and Silver, but on the 9, the watch band comes in pink or red. So maybe she wants the pink one. All right, so if there was an all-out disaster, power outage, cyber attack, or worse, do you have enough cash on hand to get the basics like water, shelter, and food? Now, in the wake of a disaster, digital payment systems like Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, point-of-sale systems, even Apple Pay and Google Pay, they might be down, maybe for a day. So having cash could be your golden ticket to grab much-needed supplies. So experts told the Wall Street Journal that you should have enough cash on hand to cover all your expenses for 2 weeks. Now, this got my attention because I don't carry any cash. I use credit cards stored in my Apple Wallet for everything. So I went out and I got 2 weeks worth of cash. But where do you keep it, right? You want to keep it in a physical wallet, in a desk, fire-resistant safe. And don't keep it all in one place. Use decoys like a fake book or a dummy wallet to keep that stash safe. Now, if you learned just one thing, if you laughed at a corny joke, or you're like, wow, that was a great aha moment, be sure to tell at least one person about the Kim Komando Show and the Kim Komando podcast, and also our newsletters over at getkim.com, because after all, as I like to say, knowledge is power.
Listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 3.
I always like to kick things off with something super interesting. And if you recently lost a job, you know how hard it is to fill out all these different applications at the various sites. But here's the story. Julian Joseph is a programmer, and he was laid off. And he was filling out all those applications. And he's like, wow, this does not make a lot of sense. AI could do the work. So he found Lazy Apply. All he had to do was fill out some basic information about the jobs he wanted and then just click a button. Then he watched the bot go through applications on LinkedIn and Indeed. Now, this is really something. The bot applied to 1,000 jobs overnight, 1,000 jobs. As a whole, it applied to 5,000 jobs for Joseph. So he applied for 300 jobs. The AI bot applied for 5,000 jobs. How many interviews do you think he got? Which one was better? Well, when he applied himself to 300 jobs, he got 20 interviews. When the bot applied to 5,000 jobs, it got how many? You ready for it? 20 interviews. So the AI bot is not the easy ticket. Hey, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Komando. Your beloved digital goddess here with you. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And it's your first time tuning in. A huge welcome to you. And to our returning listeners, it's always great to have familiar faces. You can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Commando. And you can find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free, over inside the Commando community. Just hit commando.com and hit that button that says Commando Community. And a big hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And I need two things from each and every one of you, okay? Number one, tell one person. That's all. Tell one person, even if you're just like walking down the street, it's like some random person, you can just tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, do you listen to Kim Commando? You should. Just search for Commando with a K in your favorite podcast player or over at your iHeart app or your radio app, whatever it may be. Just tell one person, because that's the best and easiest way for us to grow the show and also our pods. And number two is give me some feedback. Tell me what you want to hear more of. Head over to commando.com, hit that link that says email Kim. I read every single note that you send. All right, you can count on me to check out at least 35 to 40 different websites every single day to make sure that you and I are both up to date. And here are the top 5 things you need to know right now. And let's talk about lawyers. We all know the stereotypes of lawyers is that they're dry, they're calculating, they're super smart, they act like a robot. Now, if you're a lawyer, I have so many friends who are lawyers. You know, I'm just kidding. I love all you guys and gals. But in the future, instead of speaking to a robotic lawyer, you could be dealing with a lawyer that is a robot. That's right. For the first time ever, an AI chatbot negotiated a legal contract with another AI chatbot. No humans involved at all. It was just a demo from a company called Luminance, and the AI acted within just a few minutes and negotiated an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And I watched what it did. Now, one of the chatbot opens up a doc in Word by email. The other AI analyzes it. They make changes based on parameters. It highlights the risky clauses, and then the other one sends over the other change. The other one accepts the change. It doesn't agree with this. There's only one thing that was missing on this legal agreement, a human signature. Moving on to number 2. Ads are coming everywhere. Back in June, Uber introduced ads within its apps. When you request a ride, it's going to play video commercials while you wait for it. And Uber's now sticking ads wherever they can, even if you pay for the ride. And back then, the CEO said, we have 2 minutes of your time. We know where you are. We know where you're going. We know where you've eaten. We can use that to target an ad to you. Okay. So now it's kind of like, maybe I could do that with my app too. So MyQ, Chamberlain garage doors, I have one of these. And I was really kind of ticked off about this, is that they now say you can't use their service or their tech with smart home hubs, think Google and Amazon. Instead, you have to use their app. And on the Android side, it's filled with a lot of advertisements. Another one, when you buy the Amazon Smart TV for cheap, guess what? You thought you were getting a deal? Not so much. This past week, Amazon said you're going to get a whole bunch of advertisements. You're going to see banner ads on your home screen taking up half the television screen. That's a bad one. You have to know that before you buy an Amazon TV for sure. Moving on to number 3, this is really disturbing to me. And it's happened in San Francisco. We've talked about it here on the show, about Waymo and GM's Cruise. They're the biggest robotaxis out there. Cruise taxis are so unsafe that they're now recalling 950 of them across the United States. A woman was dragged by one of the robotaxis 20 feet, ouch, on the pavement down the street. State regulators found that Cruise withheld footage from the incident. And beyond this, they're saying that Cruise knew that there were big problems in the autonomous driving system, but they still put them on the road. Internal docs received by The Intercept revealed that Cruise was aware that their technology had problems identifying children on the street. What? You still put them on the street? They continue to expand the robotaxi service, let the cars drive autonomously without a driver. Wow. And if a car's going to drive around without a driver, it really needs to be perfect. Cruise put a lot of lives in danger. Let's move on to number 4. We're going to change gears just a little bit. We're talking about a 21-year-old guy that turned $300 into a $500,000 business per year. What? How happened? His name's Jason Sia. Like me, loves cars. And when I saw the storyline, I'm like, I had to pass along to you. He's from Honolulu, and when he was a high school senior, he wanted to get enough money to buy a new car because his mom passed along an SUV, and he's like, Mom, a dude does not drive an SUV. He had $300. He bought a vinyl printer, started selling car bumper stickers on Snapchat. He printed one of Oaxaca, the flag of Hawaii, became a big hit. And he did all this out of his parents' 1,000 square foot apartment. He's still in college at the University of Hawaii. His business is up to $38,000 a day. Oh my gosh, $38,000 a day. So cool. I told my son Ian about this guy. I'm like, hey, you guys are the same age. Here's a little inspiration for you. And Ian's like, Mom, I'm going to law school. I'm like, all right, I'll give you a break. But, what are you doing like on Fridays when you don't have school? Okay. And finally, this coming in at number 5, Beam Me Up, Scotty. There's a lot of Star Trek tech, isn't there, that you might want? The transporter. Oh, I'd love that. The tricorder to heal wounds. The holodeck. Just be transported anywhere that you want. Of all the Star Trek in the world, what does Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry's son want the most? The original model for the USS Enterprise. It's been lost for decades until this past week it was found. Star Trek fans spotted the 3-foot original model for the Enterprise for sale on eBay for $1,000. Now the son says, hey, this was my dad's. He died. It belongs to me, and I want it back from whoever listed it. Speaking of eBay, I recently purchased a car on eBay that used to be owned by Bonnie Tyler. That's right, by Bonnie Tyler. Every now and then, it falls apart. I have to tell you what's going on in Toledo, Ohio. Local law enforcement is encouraging residents to register their home security cameras with the city. Well, why would they want that? Well, police could access your camera's footage, here's the key, without a subpoena. So you can register your home or business security cams with the city, and just like that, the police actually get a shortcut to review any type of crime footage. Now, the Toledo Police Department is working with a system called FUSIS. And the company that makes it says it's the industry's first cloud-based, rapidly deployable real-time crime center. Okay, let me tell you what that means. If a crime pops up in an area, the police can, at just a click of the button, request access to all the nearby registered cameras to scope out the scene. It also uses a little bit of AI, like everything else in life, right, to monitor and scan for suspects, maybe people wearing certain clothing, or look for cars. And it's not just in Ohio. It's springing up all across the country, small, big towns, you name it. Well, Joseph Cox is a journalist and co-founder of 404 Media. And if you have not checked out this website, let me tell you, they do some really great investigative work. They took a deeper look into this system and how law enforcement is using it. And joining us right now is Joseph himself. Hello there, Joseph.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So break down what this camera system is and how it works.
Sure. So ordinarily, when you have a security camera, maybe you have one at the 7-Eleven, maybe there's one at the library, maybe there's one at City Hall or something like that. These are all independent, right? They're all silos. They don't really communicate with each other. What this company aims to do is bring them all together. So law enforcement can look at all of them simultaneously, or as you say, request data from them at once. So rather than going out to all those locations, they can radically streamline sort of the investigative process there. And in my opinion, that's not just a matter of speed. It sort of qualitatively changes what a security camera actually means once they're all connected to one another.
No, because it comes to be part of this surveillance state, right? I mean, there's always the plus side. If there's a crime, we will have all that footage instantly. But there's also the downside, which is my privacy, right?
Right. I mean, ordinarily, if you get caught by a private security camera, maybe that's a doorbell on somebody's home, or again, the 7-Eleven example, you can go, oh, I was recorded there at that time, whatever. Maybe I'm concerned about that, maybe I'm not. But when the police can then see where you've been across all of those different cameras across time, that shifts the balance slightly in a way that I think is not just a matter of efficiency, but there's something tangibly different there, especially, as you say, when you start to add stuff like AI that can recognize, well, have we seen somebody with, I don't know, a red handbag anywhere in town, and they can instantaneously bring that up.
So when we start talking about this company, Fusus, and it's in Toledo right now, is it working well in Toledo?
It's hard to say how well it works specifically. All I would say is that in the documents I've seen, and this was hundreds of documents we obtained by doing freedom of information requests around the entire country, law enforcement are loving it. They, quite frankly, really, really enjoy this technology. And they say it's, a game changer. It's a term that's used. Now, whether that actually translates into what we may call more effective policing, more fair policing, that's almost like another discussion on top of it. But right now, law enforcement are, from everything I've seen, they're really enjoying the results of this technology, at least.
Gosh, you can see so many positives for this type of setup. Even just on a personal level, is that here at the studios in Phoenix, Arizona, somebody decided to tag the building and tag the signs. And so now it's like, okay, we've got to get the graffiti off the building and the signs and all sorts. And the police came over and they said, show us your security cameras because this particular group, person, whoever it is, that they've been tagging not only businesses but churches and schools. And so, so hopefully we could put a stop to that type of actions within a particular part of a community. But then, then there's like the other side that like, well, everywhere I go now I'm being watched and I'm not doing anything wrong, but it kind of feels a little creepy.
Yeah, I mean, there are absolutely benefits, don't get me wrong. To sort of bring up another hypothetical, these cameras are also capable of doing automatic license plate reader recognition. So let's say a car got stolen or someone got carjacked. They could theoretically use this system to follow where that vehicle is going, and they could much more easily track it down. I mean, that unambiguously sounds like a pretty good thing, right? And then you'll have some of the privacy advocates who bring up, I think, legitimate questions of, yes, you have this system. Yes, it may make policing more efficient. And I'm sure it would be very efficient in the case you just brought up with your own building. But it brings up those questions of, okay, how long is that data retained for? Under what sorts of crimes are the police allowed to access it? And then even just some questions about the technology is like, if you type in, let's track everybody with a black hoodie, I mean, how many people are you going to get up? That sort of thing. And these sorts of questions that I don't think communities will really know until they're actually using and grappling with the technology. And, maybe some communities do want to do that, maybe some don't. But all I think is that it's worth having a conversation, even on a national level. All of these cities are having all of these conversations almost by themselves. And they may not know that, one city to the next has this system. There should just be a conversation around, well, this is what surveillance looks like in 2023 now. And do we want that or do we not want it? And maybe if we do, what safeguards should there be in place?
I think we're going to end it right there, Joseph. Just head over to the website, 404media.co. That's 404media.co. Thanks for being here and sharing your research with us. Again, in case you want to read that whole story, it's over at 404media.co. I want you to think back when all these big tech companies in the Silicon Valley, that they were all raving about all these great perks. And let me tell you, as a small business owner here in Arizona, I was feeling like this big because I'd hear about how Google is offering free gourmet meals. And I'm lucky if I put candy in the candy dish, right? What about unlimited vacation? That was always a big perk. And I would have people that I would interview and they say, do you offer unlimited vacation? I'm like, no. We don't. Well, I used to work for somebody who had unlimited vacation. Let me tell you, it was never unlimited. All right. There was on-campus massage rooms, pods where you could take a nap, laundry services. You get your hair done, your car washed at some of these tech companies. They had game rooms. Some of them had slides instead of stairs. I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I want that. Childcare. That was a big thing with Google, that you could bring your kids to work and then you wouldn't have to pay. And then they changed all that and said, well, if you're going to bring your kids to work from childcare, you're going to have to pony up. And everybody's like, why do we have to do that? You could bring your dog to work. They had on-site gyms and yoga classes and wellness programs. Yeah, everything. I mean, I don't know if these people are actually working, but they're getting a lot of perks along the way. And joining us right now is our amazing content queen, Allie Seligman. And so, Allie, at my attempt to compete with all this big list, I put in an air hockey table.
You did, and it's pretty fun. I mean, it's a good time. I'm not particularly good at air hockey, but I enjoy it.
Well, I'm telling you, just don't play Amber. She'll kick your butt every single time.
It's incredible. It really is. Yeah, that was definitely a thing, right? All the big tech companies, of course, that stuff has all whittled away in lots of different ways as they had to fire everyone.
Yeah, that was bad.
Maybe providing gourmet meals to everybody wasn't the best idea, but that was definitely a big trend. There have been so many, right? Recently, we've had the Great Resignation. Remember that one?
Yes.
Quiet quitting. How could you forget it?
Yes. Well, and quiet quitting, that was interesting to me. That was like where people were having like one job and then working another job and then for as long as they could. I actually know somebody. I'm not friends with them, but it's like somebody who I know, like their son did that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds quite stressful to me.
Yes.
Lazy girl jobs, of course. That's a job where you don't have to do a whole lot and you get paid. Okay, sure. But what is hot right now? What are people talking about? And the first one on my list, bare minimum Mondays. Have you heard this term?
So it's not like meatless Mondays or anything like that?
That could be part of it, sure, if that's your lifestyle. So it started with this influencer. Her name is Marissa Jo. She made a video, of course, on TikTok. It's got millions and millions of views. And this was her idea to combat the Sunday scaries. You know what that is, Kim?
No.
No? Okay, so that's that feeling on a Sunday where you think about, oh my gosh, this is all I wanted to do this weekend. And now I have to go back to the work week and I didn't get it done. And this is what I have to do at work. And you freak yourself out.
Okay, see, let me tell you something. But like Sunday around 4:00, I'm like, I can't wait for Monday. It's like, okay, I got everything all done. And if I didn't get it done, it was fine. It's like, I want to get back to work. I want to get,
Well, I will say you're a special kind of person. Not everyone feels that. The Sunday scaries, it's a real thing, right? And so her idea was, okay, I'm going to make Monday calm. I'm going to get stuff done, but I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. So for her, that is for the first 2 hours of the day, no technology. Then it's 10 o'clock. She does an hour of work, and then she takes a lunch break or maybe goes on a walk, and then she does 2 more hours of work, and then her day's over.
Oh, gosh. Excellent. Excellent.
What a productive bare minimum Monday. Now, is that at all realistic for almost all of us? No, of course not. We can't do that. But I do think there's a good little nugget there, right? On a Monday, which can already be hard and stressful enough for a lot of us, figure out what you need to do. Prioritize that stuff. Get it done. Anything else you get done, it's a bonus.
You know what? I got to tell you, Allie, you got to put on your big girl pants. Okay. I mean, and your big boy pants. There's a video of this gal going viral. I don't know if you saw it. I wish I hadn't thought of this. I could have played a little bit of it. Where she's like, I don't know how people have a life.
I did see that one, yeah.
It's like she's whining and crying and, it's just, I just want to like slap her upside the head and say, come on, this is life. This is a reality. You're 21 years old. You can figure it out.
Yes, life is hard, it turns out. Or just busy, right? It's as hard as you make it. Okay, another one, the 4-day-a-week schedule. There was just a big Gallup poll. I'm not very surprised by this. 77% of U.S. workers said working my 40 hours over 4 days a week instead of 5 would be a big life upgrade for me.
You know what? That would be. And yeah. I wish I could figure that out.
Maybe we can. We'll talk about that later. So there was this huge pilot program. It was run by Cambridge University and Boston College. They got all these businesses, government agencies, a whole bunch of groups together and said, okay, for 6 months, switch all of your employees to 4 days a week, still 8-hour days, so they were doing 32-hour weeks, and let's see what happens. They didn't change their pay. People just kept doing their work. Okay. 67% of the companies who did it said, yep, we're going to keep doing this. This is better for us. Productivity rose, employee satisfaction and wellness went up, and one of the big success stories was ThreadUp. You know that site? You can sell old clothes. Yeah. They went to a 4-day-a-week schedule and they said, okay, to do it, they cut 20% of their meetings because who has time to sit in a bunch of meetings if you have fewer days? 93% of people, our productivity is up. And this was the big one for me. Their retention rate went up 50%. People wanted to stay there, right?
Well, sure. I mean, but you know what? I'm going to say that we can barely get done what we need to get done. I mean,
for sure. For a lot of businesses, yes, it is very tough to pack everything in, right? So I think one thing to take away from this, whether or not you can really do that, less meetings.
I wonder if this company ThreadUp, I wonder what else they did that behind the scenes. I mean, I wonder if they outsourced more work to like the Philippines.
Maybe they did. Yeah. The things that they were talking about, right? They cut 20% of their meetings. They gave everybody a Tuesday as their kind of, here's your stuff to get, or here's your day to get stuff done. Your like ultra productive day. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe they did. All right. And third on the list, this is the other big trend, shadow AI. Dun, dun, dun. So this is the name basically for when AI is secretly doing your work for you. And secretly in many cases, because one, a lot of people don't want to tell their boss, oh yeah, actually ChatGPT did that for me.
Right.
Or their company has banned it altogether. And that is a surprising number of companies. I read this story on Business Insider. So this guy, they called him Blake, definitely not his real name, but he worked for an insurance company. And the worst part of his job was looking up those medical codes. And it would take forever. He hated it. Yes. And so he realized, oh, Bing Chat can do this for me. So he started using Bing to do it. He didn't tell anybody. And then, of course, not too long later, the company said, no AI, nobody can use it. He kept using it. Surprise, his average call handle time, one of the best in the company. Later, he fessed up to a coworker, and you know what she said?
What?
I use it too. But
that's funny.
So I am in no way, I would never say, do this against your company's policy. If your company has, banned you from using this, don't do it. That's dumb. But if there are repetitive tasks on your plate, things that you find yourself always looking up, always dreading, that you feel like, man, I really feel like something could help me with this. That's a really good case for AI. And if it's, good to go at your workplace, see how you can use it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're probably afraid that the confidential stuff is going to be put into it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So we had this guy working here, probably about 5 years ago, I would say. And the HR director at that time, her name was Jamie. She came to me and she said, I don't know what to do. I said, what do you mean? She said, every day, his name was not John. We'll just say John. Every day, John at 10 a.m. would go sit in his car. And then at 2 in the afternoon, John would go sit in his car for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. And she's like, so, he's been doing it consistently for a week. So I said, all right, I'll just call him in. I'll talk to him. I hate HR stuff. I just hate it. I'm like, John, what's up? And he said, yeah. He said, yes, I go to my car at 10 a.m. and I go to my car at 2 p.m. And I don't know what is the problem with that. And I said, well, because, while all the rest of the team is working, you're sitting in your car.
Yeah.
And he looked at me with this goldfish, big-eyed look and said, do you mean to tell me that I am working for a company that doesn't offer power naps? He quit.
Yeah, that didn't last.
Well, Allie, thanks for joining us, enlightening us. Maybe I'll try to have a bare minimum Monday. What do you think?
I don't think that's going to work for us, Kim.
It's not going to work for us. Just not going to do it. All right, letter from our listener, Mail. We also have this posted on the website in case you want some of the details about how you can have Wi-Fi in your RV from Jill in Montana. Of course, you can use a hotspot. It's $30 to $60 a month. But if this is really something that you're going to be using time and time again, you might want to consider getting Starlink. Yeah, I know the gear is about $100. Yeah, I know the gear is about $500. And it also costs about, $110 a month. But those are your options. Again, if you want the links, hit the website. And back to the phones we go with Steve in Ocala, Florida.
Well, I've recently retired, and I had a business for a number of years, and I used QuickBooks Pro for most of the time I had business. It was 15 or 20 years I used it. I'd like to have something for home use now, and I think QuickBooks Pro is kind of expensive and overkill for my purposes now.
Sure.
So I'm looking for some software that would...
All right. Well, there are a few out there. I'm a big fan of open source software. That's free software that we know that is being fixed by the community. And then typically you always have some great tutorials and things with it along the way. There's a program that's been out for quite a while. It's called GNU Cash. It's GNU Cash. It's designed for personal use. It has accounting, investment tracking, checkbooks. You can schedule transactions, all kinds of good things like that. It doesn't have a really steep learning curve, but if you needed to get some help along the way, there's always tons of tutorials on YouTube. So that's the first one I would check out. If you're looking for something that is maybe a little bit easier and not as feature rich as GNU Cash, another one to check out is Home Bank. And again, that's Home Bank. Now, if you Google search Home Bank, I'm going to tell you, you're going to get to a lot of banks that say Home Bank. Okay. So, all right. So the one that you want has a .fr. It's homebank.something.fr. It's actually coming out of France. It's been around for a long time. It's been translated, I think, into like 56 different languages. But it's not as QuickBooks Pro-y, so to speak, as GNU Cash. And so, in the past, I would recommend Mint, but that app is going away. So you may be tempted to say, I'm going to use Mint because, that's a good home budgeting type of home accounting package. But Intuit has announced that that's actually going to be part of Credit Karma. So do not go the Mint route because that's going away. I don't want you to get all loaded down for the next month saying, this is going to be fabulous. And then it's like, you get a notice in January, like, not anymore. So again, two we check out, GNU Cash and Home Bank. And Steve, thanks for your call today. Such a great question now that Mint is also going away. Let's see, we can squeeze in another call here. Becky in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hi there, Becky.
A little over a week ago, our local regional health care system, everything just went down. And within the last few days, the CEO came out and said it was a cyber attack. My question is what do I need to do to protect myself and to protect my healthcare identity?
It's a big question, isn't it? Right? I mean, what happens?
It's really scary.
Yeah. Well, you have to jump into action. I'm glad that you called. Your first step is to make sure that you change all your passwords, right? Any security questions associated with it?
Everything is down and I can't change my passwords yet.
Oh, wow. Okay. Then we got to go from another angle. Okay.
This was a biggie.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to keep an eye on your bank, your credit card, your insurance statements. Okay. So on your bank and your credit card, start setting up, and I know they're annoying, but you can get instant notifications for any time your credit card is used when the card is not present. The same thing with if it's over a certain amount, say $20, $100, whatever it may be. So you start getting these notifications. I would advise you to freeze your credit because this will restrict access to your credit report. That's going to make it really difficult for anybody who's going to try to steal your identity to open accounts in your name. And if you need steps on freezing your credit, we have them over on the website. Now, this medical identity theft, this is a big deal because, like, for example, somebody could go get a facelift on your account, and then when you try to use some type of benefit to get a new knee or something like that, they're like, we're sorry. We've already went through all of your money here. So what you want to do is look at your EOB statements if you get any in the mail. That's the explanation of benefits. And those are really important because you may get those in the mail and you're like, this is just junk mail. I don't have to take a look at it. But yeah, you want to make sure that you do that. This is kind of a pain in the neck because you can't sign on and update your information, right? I mean, this is kind of nutso. So that's why I think you have to go really hardcore. You might even want to start paying for an identity theft outfit to watch your P's and Q's because a service like LifeLock, for example, they now will scour the dark web for any type of information about you that may be present. So you might want to just consider paying for something like that for, even just a few months, 6 months or maybe even a year. But definitely freeze that credit. And if you need any of the steps on how to make that magic happen, just hit the website at commando.com and just type in the search box, freeze credit. What a nightmare. Sorry you're going through all this, Becky. Are your apps listening to everything you say? You see, there's a hidden list in your smartphone that will tell you if they really are. And I'm going to tell you a way to stop the listening. Because when you install an app, do you actually ever read the app's terms and conditions? Nope. No one ever does. But in all that legal mumbo jumbo, you may have given apps your permission to listen using your phone's mic and collect data and sell that data to who knows who. So how do you find out really which apps are doing this? Let's start with iPhones. On your iPhone, open your settings and tap privacy and security. And then you're going to hit the microphone. Now, this is where the magic happens. It's going to pull up a list of all the apps that are using your microphone. Just toggle off the apps you don't want picking up any conversations. Now, for Android owners, also in your settings menu, find the Apps Permission Manager. And from there, you're going to want to disable the microphone for any apps that should not be using it. Telling you folks, you got to be on your toes in today's digital world. Hey, do me a solid, tell a couple of friends about the Kim Komando Show and podcast, because after all, knowledge is power. You can find me at komando.com.
Thanks for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
Hey, I always like to kick things off with something super interesting. And get this, if you have a camera and some bananas, yes, you can make some money. Adobe Stock wants you to take 1,000 pictures of bananas. Why? To train its AI tools. Now, they're actually looking for 3 types of pictures: food munching close-ups, some hands playing with bananas, and of course, bananas in real life situations. Now, I don't know what those real life situations are. I guess you have to just make it up. Now, this is the real bananas part. For 1,000 close-ups of mouths and hands and bananas, Adobe is offering $80 per set. And for bananas in real life situations, again, I'm not sure what that is, $60. You know, it reminds me of my father. He had this quirky banana eating ritual. As he was gently peeling off the first segment of the banana, he'd say 1 skin. And then he'd unfold the next one, say 2 skin, and then he'd say 3 skin, and then he'd jump to 5 skin. And I was always like, hey, where's the 4th skin? And then he'd say, oh, it was a Jewish banana. Okay, I totally didn't get this until I was a teenager. Hey, on that happy note, you're about ready to get more tech smarts, because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're a brand new listener to the Kim Komando Show, welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. You look amazing, darling. All right, you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando, with a K, of course. And you can also find us as a podcast or a webcast commercial-free over on the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show, which is, of course, komando.com. And on there, you're going to see a button that says Komando Community. Just go ahead and tap that. And yeah, I did say commercial free. Now, if you're listening on the radio, we totally love that. Just a reminder, you can also get Kim Komando Today as a podcast to listen whenever you want and wherever you want. And wherever you get your podcast, just search for Komando with a K. And I know that you have at least a few questions about something digital that I can lend a hand to. And that's why our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. All righty, every single day I check out at least 35 different websites to make sure that you and I are both up to date on all things digital. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know about right now. And let's start with this scenario. Now, imagine you're in the hospital. Things are not going too well. Your doctor plugs in all your vitals and then all your tests into an AI model. And the results, AI says you are going to die. Well, this decision-making AI is coming to a hospital soon. Researchers at OSF Healthcare in Illinois, they have developed an AI model that can predict a patient's risk of death within 5 to 90 days after being admitted to a hospital. Now, they say that they're doing this because only 22% of folks in a hospital have an end-of-life directive. But think about this. Is it a good idea that for AI to just come out and say, all right, we shouldn't take care of this person anymore? What if the whole AI is wrong and the medical personnel, they just give up hope? Yeah, these are some real life questions. All right, number 2 on our list, let's talk about radio. With all the music streaming and apps and podcasts and satellite radio, AM and FM radio is still the most listened to audio source in America. You see, Edison Research is one of the most trusted companies out there for research. And for decades, they've been keeping a close eye on radio habits, and especially in our cars, as Ford, Mercedes, Porsche, Audi, and other manufacturers are trying to remove in-car radios, especially AM radios. Congress is working on the AM Radio in Every Vehicle Act, requiring manufacturers keep radios in every single car. Now, think about this. Fires, disasters. They prove that you just can't count on your phone for news and alerts. So Edison research data proves that AM and FM radio is still the most listened to audio in America. So what I want you to do is help keep AM radio in cars. Send a text right now to Congress at 52886. That's 52886. And tell them that you want AM radio in your cars. Once again, that's 52886. 52886. All right, moving on to number 3. Yes, Meta's out with their Ray-Ban VR glasses. Oh, yes, it's a pair of fat and misshapen glasses, and nobody really cares. I mean, the other day while cleaning out a box, I ran across my old Snapchat glasses. These are odd-shaped, geeking-looking devices. They first appeared about 8 years ago, and then everybody forgot about them. And that's what I see the future of Meta's Quest 3 VR headset made to look like sunglasses. But they're not really sunglasses. They have these little tiny cameras in each temple. Let me tell you, that's the very first thing that everyone's going to notice when you wear them. Nothing like walking into a room and saying, I'm going to record everything and everybody. Mark Zuckerberg hopes to sell these things for $500. Don't look for them at the top, though, of Santa's gift list. And this coming in at number 4, it's the parent's dilemma. How young is too young for their child to have their very own smartphone? And how much should you monitor it? Will they be safer with it or without it? Well, here's something no parent ever thinks about. Within just a few days of your child's first use of their very own smartphone, they're going to start receiving constant notifications, mostly coming in from social media. I'm talking about Snapchat, Instagram, Discord, TikTok. They all lead the way. So a child between the ages of 11 and 17, this is really nutso, will receive more than 225 messages in any typical day. Think about that, 225 messages. If you do the math, it's about 5,000 a week, not including, they say, messages from friends. Now, 25% of these pop-ups, they occur during school hours. So remember, this is social media. They don't care about your kid, how they're doing, and no one has any idea what the long-term consequences of all this constant buzzing and notifications is going to be. So as a parent, I know it's a hassle, been there. Moderation, supervision are key. And finally, coming in at number 5, the first rules of smartphone etiquette popped up in 2007. And they were as common sense. Don't send or receive text or email while you're at the dinner table, in a business meeting, at church, in class, that sort of thing. But now we have some new rules because common sense is not so common. So our first rule, if you're still leaving voicemail, just stop. Most people just ignore them. Send a text instead. And this is important. Always text before calling as say, hey, are you going to be around in a few minutes? And speaking of, you don't always need to answer your smartphone. No, especially those unknown numbers. And remember that emotions are for voice, facts are for text. That's why they should always be to the point. These long, rambling text messages, super irritating. And they should never contain sensitive information. Don't put anything in a text that you wouldn't want repeated in court because, after all, texts are forever. Oh, it reminds me, I got this in my listener email the other day. Henry in Chicago writes, 9 days ago when my girlfriend said we're breaking up, the call just ended. My calls have gone straight to voicemail ever since. So do you think, Kim, she was talking about her cell phone connection or her relationship? What do you think about this? Yes, definitely her cell connection. Yes, definitely. It has nothing to do with you, Henry. Not at all. Yeah, the things that we have to answer here on the big show. All right. How about we start with Heath in Nashville, Tennessee?
I'm currently in a dilemma or in termination with my credit card processing company and trying to do my due diligence and research who I should go with. And I thought, I just need to call Kim because I can do all the due diligence in the... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so what's going on with the credit card company now?
I own a small business. I was doing, $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 in sales on the credit card terminal each month. And all of a sudden I hit a home run sale and I did $50,000. Well, through all the red flags into motion, they requested bank statements and reason why. And I went through those hoops. And as I was giving them the bank statements and the reason why, they sent me termination letters. And so they terminated my account. They're still holding over $50,000 of the money. And thankfully, I've got a good client that understands, and we're both praying about it, but trying to stay in good communication with them. But it's not a situation I want to go through again. And so I want to know what kind of card processing company I need to go with so that they will just give me a good service.
So what was it? What did you sell for $50,000?
I liquidated the firearms of a 25-year United States Army veteran.
Yeah. And then
I'm an auctioneer.
And then yeah, we've talked before, haven't we?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have. Yep.
Okay, I remember now. Okay, because when you said Heath, and I'm like auction, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I remember. You know what? I'm so glad you called me back. That's awesome. Thank you.
It's always good to hear you.
So you own this auction house?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Well, first of all, this credit card processing company, probably because it was a firearm, that's when it threw up some major red flags, which should not be the case.
And see, I totally agree with you. But the problem there is I don't know if they've got that information because I go through an FFL to sell them. So the FFL, I don't see how they could. Anyways, they if you did any Google advertising, because I advertise on the internet, you could find out what it was for, but just per swipe, I don't know if you could tell because I don't type in what it's for. So, because I go, I'm trying to be responsible and go through a federal firearms dealer.
Okay, all right. So, you know what? So maybe what it is, Heath, is just you went from $4,000 to $6,000 to $50,000, and they're going to hold this back, to see if there's any type of disputes before they give you the money. And that's
Correct.
Probably where the 30-day hold has come from. Because, if you think about it from their perspective, you're doing $4,000 or $5,000 and then suddenly it's 10 times that. It's like, oh, well, maybe this is fraud and maybe this, isn't the right thing. There are so many different options out there. And there's anything from Square, you have Payment Depot, there's Dharma Merchant Services. It's DHARMA. I'll send you a list of these. And then, you can check out which, after you decide, you can check out which one it is. And there's National Processing. There's also CDG Commerce. A lot of this depends upon if you're going to be a member. Some charge, 2.7%. Other people charge 0.2%. And then if it's in retail, it's $1.70. It just kind of goes all across the board. Square is 2.6% and 10 cents per swipe. I don't know what you were paying before. But what I like about Square is that they've been around forever, and they have a pretty straightforward fee structure. Now, as far as going from $5,000 to $50,000 in one fell swoop, I don't know what Square's policy is. They may actually hold that back 30 days as well. I know with my little Etsy store that I have, by the way, Heath, that if I did like $900 in a weekend, Etsy said, oh no, this must be fraud. We're going to hold it back for 72 hours. And then, I'm like, okay, well, whatever, it's like,
yeah.
So it's pretty customary for them to do it. Now, there may be a different level if you're going to keep doing this $50,000 per month that you may qualify for. But I think a lot of it is going to be just as you experienced this time, that as you're a new customer, they want to make sure that there's no fraud, because once they give you the $50,000, you're never going to give it back. That's what they're thinking. So I'm going to send you a list to all these other ones, and then do me a favor and let me know which one that you pick, because I think that'd be really good intel for me to have, Heath. And congratulations on the sale, by the way. And maybe with this current company, you can write a letter to the president of the company, vice president of marketing, chief operations officer, and explain your situation. And maybe you can get that $50,000 back sooner. I'm always of the vein that, the squeaky wheel does get the grease. It does. And so I would just kind of clamp down on them and say, listen, what do we need to do to get this $50,000 back? And maybe there's some type of guarantee that you could give them for you to get that money sooner. And Heath, thank you so much for your call again. It was nice talking to you. All right, let's see who's next. James in St. John, Maine. Hello there, James.
Well, My wife and I are in our early 80s.
Okay.
And we're wanting to get our wills done. Seems like the attorneys here where we live won't even return your phone calls.
Oh, that's too bad.
So anyway, we were looking online, and there's a million different websites you can go to. And I'm a little hesitant because you don't know what you're getting into and who may want to take your information and use it against you. So I'm wondering if you have some suggestions as to how to be sure we're on a safe website.
Well, that's a really valid concern. The thing that, a will is a very important document, obviously, right?
Yes.
And a lot of this has to do by per state, what laws are covered. And if you can't find an attorney to help you out, there's a couple of things that you can do. Number one, you can buy a program and you can use it just not connected to the internet. And there's a lot of will making programs out there. Quicken makes one, as a matter of fact. And so it's a will maker and trust. Okay. And so that's pretty good software. There's a website called nolo.com, NOLO.com, because James, you're really smart. I mean, the worst thing you can do is just go on the internet and say, make a will. Okay. It's like, no, we don't want to do that. Okay. We want to make
absolutely not.
We want to make sure we're at a legit site. Nolo has been around for, many years. And they can provide the forms that for you and your wife, kind of like a do-it-yourself will, a living trust, a power of attorney, because those are the three documents that you're going to need. And just do it very simple. I assume that you're not going to have a very complicated estate.
No.
Okay, so you could probably do this yourself. And so, again, the site that I would recommend is Nolo. That's NOLO.com. And if you need any help afterwards, James, just give me a call back. I'm happy to help you out. But again, it's nolo.com. I wish I could give you 2 or 3, but this is the one that I know is totally legit for a lot of legal forms. James, thank you for your call. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about having a will done over at nolo.com. I mean, that's if you really know what you're doing, okay? And it's really super easy to use. But if you need some assistance doing that will, well, that's when you should check out another website, trustandwill.com. Now, let's say you want a lawyer and you don't want to spend $200, $300 an hour to do that. Well, that would probably be maybe Rocket Lawyer or LegalZoom would be the choice there. Now, there's also uslegalwills.com, and that's really best for, say, unlimited updates during your lifetime. So again, aside from nolo.com, there's trustandwill.com, there's rocketlawyer.com, LegalZoom.com, they've been around for so long too, and uslegalwills.com. Now, before we go back to all of your phone calls, let's talk about that hidden list that tells you what apps are listening in. Okay, it's in your smartphone, and there is a way to stop the listening. Because here's the deal. Whenever you install an app, do you actually ever read the app's terms and conditions? Yeah, no one does. But in all that legal mumbo-jumbo, you probably have given apps your permission to listen using your phone's microphone and then collect data and sell that data to who knows who. So you want to find out which apps are doing this. Let's start with iPhone users. Simply open up your settings, then you're going to go to privacy and security, and then tap that microphone. Here's where the magic happens. It pulls up a list of all the apps that are using your microphone. Just toggle off the apps you don't want picking up your conversations. Now, for Android owners, in your settings menu, you're going to find the Apps Permission Manager. Kind of do the same thing. Disable the microphone for any apps that shouldn't be using it. So once again, it's going to happen all on that microphone setting, whether you're on an iPhone or Android. Yeah, you got to be on your toes. All right, let's see who's up next. Sam in Oklahoma City. Glad to have you on board with us.
Okay, well, number one, I want to let you know that I get the Prime every day, and I love that thing. It's got a lot of good tips on it, and I recommend it to everybody. So
that's awesome. You know what? Did you used to get our older newsletters?
Yes, I did. Yes,
okay,
I did.
So how do the old newsletters compare to the new one?
like the new one better. It's very short. It covers a lot of different topics. You've got links to stuff if I need something more in depth. So.
Well, I appreciate that because they're growing like gangbusters. I'll tell you, Sam. It's just, I'm so thrilled because it's I'm spending a lot of time writing those newsletters every day, and I keep like hoping that I'm going to find the best freelancer available, but not yet. So every word in there, it's either written by me or actually Allie's been helping a lot too over here too. So what's going on? How can I lend a hand?
Okay, well, I've got a question. I've got AT&T internet service, and it's DSL. It comes on the phone line. They don't have fiber to my house yet. They've been advertising wireless, but I'm not sure I want to look at that yet. But they make you use a gateway that's provided by them because it has the modem and a router in it, and they claim that they can't do diagnostics if you use something else. My question is, is it a way to use the modem that's in the gateway they give me and buy an aftermarket router?
Yes, you can do that. It gets a little techie. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. But what we don't want is to cause any network confusion and congestion. Because then what that happens is like the whole house of cards will come crumbling down and you're going to want to get your Kim Komando Show newsletter and you're going to be like, I get the spinning wheel of death and I can't get out, I can't get in. And so we don't want that to happen. So what we have is something called bridge mode. And what bridge mode is going to do is going to separate the traffic from the two routers. So that this way, all the data isn't going to be confused on where it's going to go. And so this way, it's going to go just to that right router. And that's what bridge mode does. Okay. So what you're going to do is put the modem router into bridge mode. You're basically at that point turning off the router functions in that device. So that this way you can use your own router to manage all the traffic on the network so that everything will run super smoothly. Okay. To how to do that is a whole bunch of steps. And if I were to give those steps out right now, Sam, everybody would be like, oh, what a crappy show. Okay. So we don't want a crappy show, do we? No.
No, we don't.
We don't want a crappy show because then people turn off their radios, they stop listening to the podcast, and then the ratings go down, and then I'm going to have to move to Oklahoma City and move in with you. So.
Okay. Well, we got a room.
Okay. I don't cook. I'm just telling you right now, and I'm not doing the laundry. It's not happening.
We don't either. But my wife loves to do the laundry. So
that's great. Okay. I might just come. All right. So here's what we're going to do is I'm going to put you on hold. And we're going to send out a link to you on how to enable bridge mode. Again, it's not terribly difficult. Just make sure that you follow the steps and don't do it when you're drinking. Make me that promise. Sam, thank you for your call. Now, there are some solid reasons to have a separate modem and router. It's always my preference. Okay. So like, for example, you have some choices when it comes to features, and these high-end routers, they have advanced features and it's more extensive than you have on these combo deals. Also, better heat dissipation. You have two separate devices means that heat is distributed better and therefore reducing the risk of overheating. You can also customize your network, and then you're going to avoid those rental fees. Nobody should be paying ISPs rental fees. You shouldn't do that. Just buy your own modem, buy your own router. It's going to lead to savings over time. And also, it's ISP independence. So no matter where you move or whatever you do, you want to get a new provider because you have your own router, you have your own modem, is that it gives you a lot more flexibility. And if you need help on picking that router and modem, we've got all kinds of links and buyer's guide over at komando.com with a K, of course. All right. It seems like in my email, I always get questions about, Kim, how can I get paid for taking surveys and opinions? So that's why we put together a list of all these different ways that you can do it. Because especially now the holidays, I know it sounds crazy, but literally right around the corner. And a little extra cash is always welcome. So let's start with number one on our list is Quick Thoughts. This is an app for Android and iOS devices, and it gives you back Apple Music gift cards for taking surveys and polls. You can select these polls on the go. They can use your location to find GPS-based activities. You can do restaurant reviews. and they're immediately added to your account whenever you complete a survey. Now, again, you're not going to get rich. Each survey rewards maybe $3, local activities $5, and then once you hit your first $10, that's when you can get that gift card. Next is Inbox Dollars, and they all work pretty much the same, but this one's different. You maybe are getting paid to search the web, watch a few videos, read emails, complete offers, play games, shop online. This one, you have to get to $30 before you get any type of gift card. Works on Android, iOS. Swagbucks, been around for a long time. You play games, you watch videos, scan your grocery receipts. And again, you're going to get rewards, or you can save money too on different types of things that you're doing. It's kind of like a all-around app. YouGov, they conduct online polls about politics, public affairs, that sort of thing. Google also has their own program called Opinion Rewards. And then finally, there's called Drummo. And I know you're sitting there going, I'm just trying to write all these down, Kim Commando. You're going so fast. Oh, stop that complaining. Just head over to commando.com with a K, of course. And then once you're there, just search for apps that will pay you for your opinions. That's right. Just search for apps that will pay you for your opinions. All right. Back to the phones we go with Kristen in St. Anthony, Minnesota.
A lot of my questions are circled around kind of health. And I think I saw something. Were you advertising something that said the dirty truth about your food?
Yeah, I think that was in one of our newsletters.
Yeah. So anyway, yes. I was intrigued by that, just as well as I'm just intrigued about kind of, overall health, wellness. And I just see that you have a lot of resources and good insight and kind of navigate people toward, I would say, the truth about information, like the forbidden truth. So that's why I reached out. Just about my initial question was about the Fitbit, about having resources for that, and knowing a little bit more about how to really.
So are you trying to? So are you trying to get healthier and lose weight?
me and my child.
Okay, and tell me where you're at now, and tell me what the goal is.
So where I'm at now, I've for the most part done a lot of changing with my diet. I don't work out as much, but I'm kind of trying to count steps, and I'm doing swimming on the weekends, and so I've actively changed my diet night and day from what I was eating. But it's still kind of challenging because I've been overweight all my life. I'm from the South. I've eaten fried chicken all my life, and it's not something that I have to have now. But it's just difficult. And so that's why I was really intrigued by the dirty truth about our food, because it's like, how do you make healthy choices? Because it's like you get so much information. Oh, well, this isn't good for you. Oh, well, don't eat too much carbs. Oh, this. But I've noticed that everything is not catered.
I know. It gets to be.
It's overwhelming, to say the least.
It can get overwhelming. Let's just start at the basics. Okay. Number one. Okay. That what you consume, you have to get out and exercise. Okay. And you can do 2,000 calories a day, but I try to stick to 1,500 calories. That's what I do. You want to drink at least 8 ounces of water 8 times a day, not all at once. Okay. And using technology can really help you, because when you get on a exercise plan and your wearable device is saying, hey, Kristen, you got to get your butt off the couch and get some steps in. You look down and you're like, okay, you know what? I can do this. And you start in very small increments. The thing that overwhelms people is that they get in and they go, oh, I gotta walk 10,000 steps today. Then I gotta do it tomorrow. Then I gotta do. Okay, we can work up to that. Okay, start at 2,000 steps. Go to 3,000, 4,000. Okay, and if you can do that, you can get to 10,000 steps 3 times a week. You're going to see a difference. And not just in your physical health, Kristen. You're going to see it in your mental health. Okay? Because I can tell you, I've been an exerciser and I've been a health fanatic. I really, truly have been. And it's very annoying. Okay? It's annoying for people around me. Okay? Because, we go someplace and I'll be like, oh, there's nothing for me to eat here. because I've been this way my whole life. Okay. And, my husband's from the South, and I get that because I've gone down there with him, and wow, this food is good. Oh my God, the fried chicken, right. Amazing. Okay. But we can't have that anymore. Sorry. Okay. So what you do is you start eating lean meats, a lot of vegetables, olive oil, no butter, fruits, have an apple once a day. And you start, and you clean out, you get rid of all of the junk in your house. You just have to get rid of it. Because if it's not there, you're not going to eat it. Because I can tell you that my sister went to Costco, and she bought this peanut butter thing that it was chocolate. And I had some last night, and I thought to myself, this just has to leave the house. This just has to go. It just needs to go. So when you start talking about Fitbits, they do different things. Okay, you've got heart rate monitoring, which is really important. It tracks your sleep because you need a good 8 hours. Okay, and it will of course, it will track your steps. And they also have sensors that will track the stress in your body temperature, and you can even get an ECG along the way if that's what you want. Okay, but you don't have to start with all of the big, expensive $500-$600. If you look at a Fitbit, and they're good, look at one. It's called the Inspire 3, and the Inspire 3 will keep track of your stress, your steps, your workout intensities, your sleep. But the thing that I like about it, especially because now you're in a life-changing mode right now, you are. You're going from being somebody who's sitting on the couch to somebody who's gonna, when it comes to that parking lot, because it's what I do. When it comes to that parking lot, we're not going to take that first spot anymore. You're not going to do that. Okay? You're actually going to go and say, I'm going to park. I'm going to park far away so I can get some more steps in. Okay. So it becomes a whole lifestyle change when we start talking about what we put into our body is not processed food anymore. We're going to get enough sleep. We're not going to drink as much. We're going to have a lot of fruits and vegetables. We're going to drink a lot of water. Not going to drink soda anymore. I don't even drink coffee. I know people think how can you not drink coffee? You know what? I just don't like the way it makes me feel. So look at a Fitbit Inspire 3 to get yourself started. Okay, a Fitbit Inspire 3. They're $100 on Amazon. And Kristen, I want you to call me. But better yet, somebody at the studio, I want you to call Kristen back. Let's have an update on how Kristen's doing 30 days from now on her new lifestyle. Kristen, you can do this. I know you can, or else you wouldn't have called me. You can do this. Have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. One of the great things about having a smartwatch when you're trying to lose weight is that you can set up a daily step or calorie burn goal. And that can be so motivating because it also gives you real-time progress updates. And then when you hit your targets, they give you stars and bells and whistles go off. So, if you're sitting there struggling with your weight and you can't afford Ozempic, like the entire world seems to be on, crazy, isn't it? Just make sure that you get a Fitbit or get a smartwatch because that can really help you out. Okay, Professor Alex Moore gave her Vancouver stay a 4-star review. Not too bad, but not good enough for the host. You see, her review made his listing drop from a perfect 5 to a 4.0. to a 4.9, and that totally set him off. And it actually put her in danger. Now, the Airbnb host told Alex that if she did not remove her rating within 48 hours, he was going to track her down. Okay, so what could Alex do to protect her privacy? After all, the host had her picture, her address, and her phone number. Well, thankfully, she called the police. The guy got booted from the platform, Airbnb. But what are some other things you need to do if your Airbnb dream host turns out to be just a nightmare creepo? Okay, first thing, don't overshare with your host. They need some information, but they don't need everything. And be sure that all your communications are done through the official Airbnb app. That's really, really important because this way they can totally see and track what happened. And if an owner is ever threatening you, don't delay. Just call the cops. Just call 911. Alrighty, do me a solid and tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and the Kim Komando Today podcast because everyone needs more tech smarts, right? Knowledge is power, and you can find me at komando.com.